whatever you do, stick and move. Stick and move. Don't stand in front of that man. Do not stand in front of that man.
I don't know how much confidence that Jake Paul have in all this, but you know he gonna be a lot quicker. And if he stay close to Mike,
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. Would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him.
Did you ever do a fight like that?
I feel as though in my career I can't do that right now.
On live television, Stephen A. Smith tore into Gervonta "Tank" Davis, saying he should be embarrassed for agreeing to fight YouTuber-turned-boxer Jake Paul. With his usual fiery style, Smith argued the matchup was more about show than real boxing. He blasted the fight as a sideshow, calling it disrespectful to the sport and accusing Davis of chasing hype instead of protecting his legacy. Smith's outburst was one of his harshest in recent memory, making it clear he believes this fight deserves criticism, not praise.
Steven, I wanted you to come on the show to tell me that you think I'm a great boxer.
I think you're a damn good boxer with a lot of potential. And I got one problem with you, and I told you this already. You are skilled. You cannot be going in the ring beating up on dudes that you know don't box. You can't have a basketball player, UFC fighters. No, they strike. They don't box. There's a difference. They're not on your level.
As we all know, as a competitive sport boxing fan, this is nonsense. It doesn't make any sense for the sport, for Tank as a world champion fighting Jake Paul, as Jake Paul trying to become a world champion fighting Tank. None of that makes sense. Business-wise, this thing's gonna blow up. So let's see about the business of this thing. Let's see what the narrative is for this fight. Because again, I think Jake's gonna come in there and try to knock Tank Davis out. And if Tank's not taking him seriously, believe it or not, that potentially could happen. And I'll explain why. The breakdown, let's go.
Smith pointed out the massive gap between the two fighters, reminding viewers that Jake Paul usually fights at over 200 pounds while Gervonta Davis competes at just 135. He questioned whether this kind of matchup could harm boxing's reputation, warning that big-name crossover fights risk making the sport look more like entertainment than competition. This isn't the first time Smith has spoken strongly about Davis.
Can't buy the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody? Pretty please, with sugar on top. I'm interested. Gervonta Davis might be every bit as box office as Maverick himself. As exciting, as electric, because this dude performs every time out, y'all. Wherever Davis goes, wherever he fights, fans justifiably follow. He's that special. And Davis is without a doubt one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world right now. Don't you even doubt it.
After Davis's controversial majority draw with Lamont Roach back in March, Smith pushed back against criticism. He highlighted Davis's strong record and praised the way he carried himself under pressure. Smith argued that Davis showed real championship character by standing firm through the doubts and immediately agreeing to a rematch, proof, in his eyes, that Davis is confident in his place at the top and ready to prove it again.
World to recognize. This is one of the top 5 fighters on the planet. He might be top 3.
Yeah.
You can make a legitimate argument for him being 3, 1, or whatever. Frank Martin, props to him, came into the fight 18-0, 12 knockouts. Clearly did not have the power to keep Gervonta Davis from stalking him from opening tap. That's what he did. He stalked him and stalked him and stalked him. Okay? Frank Martin caught him with some good shots. Gervonta Davis kept coming.
So he can punch. He's a knockout artist. He can box. He's not given enough credit for it, okay? He closes. He finishes. Once he smells blood, he's like a shark in blood-infested waters, Molly. He will finish you, okay? And by the way, he is an elite boxer. And so the time has come for this man.
Smith made it clear there was no doubt about Gervonta Tank Davis's place in the sport. He ranked Davis among the top 3 boxers in the world, praising his power, skill, and knockout ability. Davis is a proven world champion with a respected career. Jake Paul, on the other hand, is still seen as a YouTuber who crossed into boxing and lacks the experience of a true professional. Smith argued that for a fighter of Tank's caliber to face someone so far beneath his level could hurt his reputation. That's why, in Smith's view, Davis should feel ashamed of taking the fight.
Jake Paul is a professional. At some point in time, I don't give a damn if it's a light heavyweight. Better BF, Bivol, a super middleweight, Canelo, Mexican Monster, David Benavidez, somebody that actually has a reputation. The time has come for Jake Paul to step into the ring with a cat who actually boxes for a living and give us that fight. I appreciate the fact of him promoting. I appreciate him having the cachet as a former YouTuber turned boxer. I like Jake Paul. I respect Jake Paul. I'm just saying, because I like him and because I respect him, I want to see him in the ring. And I don't want to hear, I know his numbers are better, but then he gonna say, I don't need Canelo, Canelo needs me. Well, wait a minute. It ain't just about popularity, bruh.
Stephen A. has also spoken out against the growing trend of mismatched exhibition fights, including the much-talked-about Paul vs. Mike Tyson bout. He said he found the matchup disappointing, even disgusting, because it puts entertainment over fair competition. In his view, Jake Paul needs to step into the ring with real, active fighters instead of taking on retired athletes or past their prime stars. While Smith did give Paul credit for his promotional skills and ability to draw attention, he stressed that true respect in boxing only comes from facing legitimate, current opponents.
Right. Jake Paul responds to Gervonta Tank Davis call out and absolutely takes the moment and the opportunity to clown Gervonta Tank Davis's height in the sport of boxing. And he says here, is there a height limit in the sport of boxing? This is where Jake Paul says, and his team, Gervonta Tank Davis needs me. We don't need Gervonta Tank Davis. Let's listen here.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
After Mike Tyson's fight, when Gervonta Davis publicly called him out, Jake Paul responded with humor. At the post-fight press conference, he said he was open to facing Davis but couldn't resist cracking a joke about the size difference. Paul compared the situation to weight class rules, playfully asking if there should also be a height limit. The comment was lighthearted but pointed, highlighting the obvious mismatch while keeping the moment entertaining during an otherwise serious exchange.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him. Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or like all that stuff, right? At the end of it, bro, we just want to do what's best for ourselves, right? Right or wrong. So just do what's best for you.
All of a sudden, we want to know who will win in this fight, Jake Paul or Tank Davis. It's a legit question, and I actually want to really hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to win, because I know what Vegas is saying, but I want to know what you think. You got
personally, I think Tank too little, bro.
Yo,
I think Tank's too little.
I'm so glad you have a brain on your fucking shoulder.
I think Tank's too little.
I said, bro.
I think Tank's too little. That's what I'm saying. That weight class is for a reason.
Davis,
that weight class is for a reason.
5'5", 135 pounds. Jake Paul is 6 feet, 205 pounds.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro.
He's
6'1", 205. Everybody's like, yeah, bro, but Tank it only takes one good punch. Yes, it takes one good punch when you're about the same size. There's a 60, 70 pound difference in weight in these people. I don't think nobody puts the physics in mind. Jake Paul gets punched in the face by dudes 200 pounds with all their might on a weekly basis. 135 pound puncher, bro. If y'all remember the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight, Conor walks around like 180 on the regular. He's like 5'9", 180. Mayweather's like 5'7", 145. That 30-pound, 30-pound difference, bro. If you remember that fight, Mayweather was putting mittens on Conor. Guess what happened to Conor? He didn't hit the ground once.
No.
He lasted all 12 rounds getting hit with flurries. I'm talking about Mayweather was having his time. He's being cocky with it, hitting with all kind of combos. And we're watching the last 3 rounds of that shit like, yo, knock him out. And you know what? He could not knock him out because Conor gets punched by people that are 170, 180 pounds on a regular. And just that 30-pound difference, it was like impossible for him to do anything. And that's exactly what I feel like is going to happen versus Jake and Tank.
Rolando Romero shared his take on the potential Paul versus Davis fight, especially if it lands on Netflix. He believes it would attract massive attention in the US, particularly among younger fans. By comparison, a matchup like Canelo versus Crawford would resonate more with Mexican and Latin American audiences. In Romero's view, both fights would help grow boxing's popularity, which is ultimately good for the sport. He admitted that Canelo versus Crawford would be the better contest from a pure boxing standpoint, but argued that Paul versus Davis could draw a larger American audience, especially under age 20.
Both of them say you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fight?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it. You know, you fighting pay-per-view knocking these dudes out. That don't take away the fact that I can beat this dude. That dude get to feeling himself and feeling like he's something that he's not. And to the world, he look like a killer, but I can't wait. I'm gonna expose him. I'm gonna expose him. I promise you, I'm gonna expose him. Why? I'm gonna be the person that expose him. I'm gonna be the person that he going there. He not gonna knock out. He not gonna hurt. He gotta go 12 rounds with somebody and somebody gonna be beating him. He ain't gonna like that shit. That shit gonna mess with his heart. That shit gonna fuck with his head. Why?